Gwan, are you there? What's good? And you know who this is, baby. The #1 podcast in America, dedicated to all you kings and queens of color, homies and homettes, shotters, woo gals, G-boys, and charges. The one and only Jerk Jollof and Collard Greens podcast.
Gwan, are you there? What's good? And welcome to the Jerk Jollof and Collard Greens podcast. I'm your host, Glenn, aka G Ransom. And for today's discussion, my brothers and I will strive to answer the age-old question: can men and women truly maintain 100% platonic, healthy, non-intimate relationships? So you want to question what that means. That means, you're not out here partaking in Netflix and chill activities with your quote-unquote friends. But to do so effectively and inclusively, we've invited the charismatic, personable, real, uncensored, and sensuous leading ladies behind the BlackWomenHealShow podcast to lend us their opinions, thoughts, and experiences on the matter. Now, ladies, can you just give us a quick hello, and we'll do a full introduction a little bit later on to the discussion.
What's going on?
Hey, y'all.
Hello.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
How you doing?
Yo, I'm telling y'all right now, we're getting all of the Godiva essential oil vibes going on right now because these ladies are absolutely stunning.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly. So today we'll uncover various views and opinions on whether it is essential to set boundaries within opposite sex friendships, if there's any value behind said relationships, and how to navigate your intimate relationships while maintaining friends of the opposite sex. We'll also answer a question dropped to us by one of our listeners, and it's surely one you don't want to miss. But before we delve any further, if you aren't already a follower, perhaps tuning in for the first time, like to learn more about the show, then definitely check us out on Instagram at JerkJollofCollardPod, where you can stay up to date in our latest offerings, announcements, and join the JJC community. You can also drop us your questions, comments, and or feedback about the show. Now, if you know anything about this show, you know we are the world's most cultured podcast, and I attribute that honor to my brothers in bond, aka the JJC panel, starting with Mr. Naira, the pod originator himself, D-Ron, aka D-Black.
What up? What's good, everybody? How you doing?
Next up, got co-host, angriest black man in America, Chunky.
Never missing a fucking episode again.
All right, next up, we have our in-house creative, half Boricua, half amazing, Mr. Machete, Dre P.
You threw in the machete, oh man. I don't know if I should be proud or offended right now, but
machete. Coquito season's coming up too, so
absolutely.
It's about that time. Got to start.
Support your local Boricua.
For sure. And last but not least, of course, myself, Glenn, your favorite yardie, humble extrovert, represent NYNJ. You can find me on Instagram at G_ransom. Promote yourself and grow your wealth. And shout out to our brother Francis, a fellow Nigerian who could not make it today because he is handling business over here on the East Coast. And now,
just for Francis, real quick.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Francis. You ain't here to defend yourself, so this is what happens.
That's mad shady, bro.
Go to dynamite.
Wait. We got company over. You can't be acting like this. Yeah.
Oh,
company
sorry.
over, man.
Chunky was one of those kids.
I apologize, Francis.
Chunky was for sure one of those kids that showed out when Guess What Family had guests over, like, oh, they got company over tonight.
Yeah.
I show out regardless. It doesn't matter who's around. I'm just going to be me.
Okay. Yeah, he got the chancleta. That's what that was. Like, mijo, keep it up. Keep it up.
Hey, it turned me into an amazing man.
You want to run a survey on that one?
I don't care what y'all think.
Let's go ahead. With that said, I think you'll love these ladies particularly because when I say they are uncensored, I mean for a fact they are uncensored. And so I'd like to introduce our guest panel, beloved hosts, queens behind the BlackWomenHealShow podcast, the raw, honest friends you need to feel less alone, discussing all of life's bullshit. Let's get to it. And we have to go in any particular order, but I like calling out the names. So we'll say, I guess, maybe start off with Cheyenne. Can we get a quick hello?
Hello. What's good?
All right. And also a part of the podcast, we have Sheena.
Hey y'all.
Sheena, the cannabis hasn't activated yet. So,
I'm the hippie. I'm definitely the hippie of the group, and I am feeling the effects. Okay, so hey y'all.
And trust, I'm an edible partake. I partake in the edibles myself, so yes, I'm quite aware of the effects. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have Ashley.
Yo, aka Boss Lady.
Boss Lady, that's right.
And I got Sheena beat on the cannabis.
Pre-gaming, okay, getting the party started.
Definitely.
You're having a good night regardless.
Every day.
Every
night.
Every day.
Next up, we have Salida.
Hey, y'all. Well, all I can say, hello, Clarice.
Yes. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I'm Salida. I go by Forever Guarded Artist. I'm me, myself. I am my own brand. Everything I do, say, and think.
Awesome.
All right.
And next up, we'll get last but not least, of course, we have Monique.
What it do? Fuck it is, dummy.
Okay.
I'm telling you. So I guess for our listeners that may not know, well, I'll be surprised if they don't, but they may not know what your podcast is about or who you are. Can you just tell us quickly about your podcast, where you're all from, what got you into podcasting, and how to find you?
Cheyenne, you got that, boo.
Handle it.
Well, basically, it was just an idea that came to me. These ladies, we all went to school together. We were never really best of friends, but we always followed and supported each other on social media. The idea came to me and I kept dropping little gems on everybody's pages like, yo, I got a proposition for you. So I finally let the cat out the bag to one person, and it was like, once I let the cat out the bag, it was no turning back. Like I had to come together and bring everybody together and tell them what the idea was. So literally, it was December of 2020. I came to these ladies with the idea. Everybody was on board. Monique already had her podcast. She does the infertility podcast. And I presented the idea to the ladies and everybody was on board. Literally, we discussed it, and 4 weeks later, we started recording, and it was a done deal from there.
Yeah. All right. That's what's up. So how can our listeners learn about your podcast and where to find it particularly?
Ashley. This your section.
Yeah, that's you.
Okay. So we're on the gram. We're on Instagram at BlackWomenHealShow. Follow us. We're also, if you're a tuber like me, if you like YouTube, we're on YouTube and you can get the visuals dropped every Wednesday. And we're everywhere. I mean, the ladies got to take the other spots, but those are my favorite spots. So please holler at us on those spots. We also have a website, the BlackWomenHealShow.com.
TikTok.
Yes,
we're everywhere.
TikTok. Yeah, we're all over.
We're everywhere.
We're Googleable.
iTunes.
Okay.
Google us, baby.
We're
Apple,
Googleable. Spotify, Podbean, all that good. We're everywhere.
Yeah, and thank y'all for having us, because there's a whole lot of us on this side. You know, we got a whole starting lineup. You know what I mean? So.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Nah, for sure. So just to give you a little glimpse into Black Women Heal Show podcast, you'll find episodes titled like Mind Fuck Me, Seduce Me Intellectually, Spiritually Stuck in Shit, Pushing It Past Spiritual Stagnation, Black Girl, You Know, it was one of my favorites. Black Girl, You Know You Can't Do That. I look into the overly critical views of Black women in America, which I think really hit a lot, really deep into the mindset and how Black women are perceived today. So it's really a mixed bag, and I think something for everyone essentially. And being heterosexual male that listens to the show, definitely something for everyone if you want to tap in. So definitely check them out. I'm online on IG, Black Women Heal Show on Instagram. And I believe your episodes release every Wednesday and sometimes Friday.
Yes, we do our 2 cent letters on Friday, where our listeners will send us a letter. Gets crazy. It gets crazy.
It gets kind of crazy. That's why we call it 2 cents, just giving our little 2 cents. That's all.
And that shit.
2 cents.
That's what's up.
More shit.
We could always use a little more change. Trust.
Yeah.
We could always use a little more change.
That's
all
right.
So now that we got into that, before we dive head first into this discussion, you already know we got to deliver this episode's Rep Yours. So, brother D-Ron, please step up to the altar and give us today's Rep Yours word, my brother.
What's good, everybody? Never done a Rep Yours before, but gotta rep the businesses that out here big in the streets, right? So anyway, today's Rep Yours is dedicated to FAD, Fine African Dining Restaurant located in Marietta, Georgia. FAD specializes in West African and Nigerian cuisine and invites guests to partake in their rich worldly offerings in either a critique dining room and or banquet hall style setting. FAD boasts a roomy venue and offers live jazz music on the weekends. FAD is the perfect location for an intimate dining experience or to add some West African flair to your next big event. To learn more about FAD's banquet hall, dine-in, and or catering options, menu, or make a reservation, be sure to visit their website. And I've actually partaken from Fine African Dining Restaurant. It's actually really good. I mean, makes me feel like my grandmother made it. So you get some of that old school splash. What'd you say?
So you got all the Nigerian abuelas in the kitchen.
Oh boy. I mean, they got the pepper soup. They got, oh my gosh, the pepper soup is probably the most fire thing that they got, because then I don't know if you guys are, I guess plantain with, you guys call it plantain, but we call it dodo.
Plantain.
It's called, dodo gizzard. You gotta try it. Okay. It's gizzard with plantain mixed together, and they put like spice sauce on it. It's fire, but yeah. But shout out to that.
Okay. Gizzards as in like chicken intestines?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
We never had it.
Right.
We call those shitlins.
I'm about to say, you're from the South. You should be eating.
I'm good.
He said, I'm good.
Like, oh, let me hop out and get this. Like, nah.
With him, I'm good.
I'm all right. Thanks for the suggestion, though.
No, this.
Gizzards is a little different, though. I would say I never had chitlins, but gizzards I've had. And if you like liver, I would say it's probably the closest thing to that.
Liver.
Well, liver is dry. Gizzard is a little bit more
juicy, chewy.
There's nothing.
Depends on who's cooking it.
Saying I'm going to eat something that at one point it had shit in it.
Right. But you like shrimp, though, right? You like shrimp.
You like shrimp?
You devein it, but you
Mm-hmm.
devein it. But like at this point, I'm just eating the passageway that the shit was in. So it's just like,
thank you. I'm good.
Yeah, I got a whole visual.
Yeah, put it like that.
Hard pause, like
yes, very.
Now,
hey, don't knock to try it.
I can get with you on the oxtails and all that kind of stuff, but the chitterlings, no thank you. I can't do that either.
Yeah.
I feel chunky on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have the support because this man doesn't understand.
Well, you can always go and
well, we
get
with
the
you on that
jollof fried rice. Everybody loves jollof fried rice, right? So,
yes.
Yes.
That was a good rep yours, by the way, D Black. You did really well. It's impressive.
You're gonna do some more, so get used to it. But you loaded them all up for you, brother. You'll get used to it real soon. But I think you ladies are all from like the DMV area, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we got DC, Maryland, Virginia in the house.
Mm-hmm. Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Be more okay.
Yeah. I'm originally from Jersey, so I'm Jersey.
I'm originally from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
By way of Maryland. But I rep the A. Look, y'all go
all over the map.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I went to college in Atlanta and I stayed there for like my whole adult life until like 3 years ago. So we came back home or whatever. But yeah.
What school did you go to?
I went to Clark, Atlanta.
Oh, okay. Drumline. Okay, I see you.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Because I was just in Atlanta and Baltimore, like back to back. And
get out.
Yeah, it was dope. Had a really good time out there.
Yeah.
We kind of spread out here though. Like we all live in like completely different areas for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of spread
all
out
different directions.
Yeah.
It's like a circle though. It's like a circle.
Yeah, a real big circle for us.
Like the Earth.
The Earth. The Earth is flat. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Moving on. I'm done.
Here we go.
Done.
Oh,
And
Lord.
it starts.
You talking my language,
That's not
man.
okay.
Yes.
You give me a shy language. Facts on facts on facts on facts.
But we're not gonna go down that road.
But right, that's not
Do
that
not-
wasn't on the itinerary for
Not
tonight.
Doing it with y'all.
Oh man.
Stay
You
tuned
already
to
got
part 2.
started Friday.
Exactly.
Exactly.
We gotta come back.
Well, it's gonna turn more like Street Fighter and fight.
Oh,
Right.
Oh, it
about
ain't no
that.
fight. I'm gonna fight with words.
So
That's what I'm talking about.
Look.
That's what I'm talking about.
I thought I was gonna get physical. I was like, sign me up.
No.
Oh no.
No. This with the words. With the words.
We love
With
it.
the words.
Chunky don't mind.
We
a
have
little
a
wrestling.
lot of debates
Yeah.
between
Oh, all
each
right.
other on and off the show. Okay,
Yes, we
a lot
do.
of debates.
Hey.
We come back together. We just agree to disagree at the end.
That's it.
You know
We
what
still
I'm saying?
together.
You too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
The struggle.
There's 5 of us. There's no way we're ever all gonna agree on the same. You know what I mean?
All right, so let's see how we all feel about our first question then, which comes from one of our listeners at Flo Marie, and she's asking, why are the sexual rules different for men and women? So I'll start off on this one just to kind of probe the subject and throw a little out there. So I think one of the things or 2 points that I can speak to as far as the sexual rules between men and women, which are like some of the double standards, right? Like in the bedroom and outside of the bedroom. Like say, for instance, women, for a fact, are afforded a little bit more sexual fluidity than men. In other words, a woman can say that she's been with people of the same sex and people of the opposite sex and not have to worry about being able to engage or pursue a serious relationship with having that stigma of, oh, you slept with other women. However, men, on the other hand, if we were to have sex with other men and then pursue a heterosexual relationship, a lot of the times we get that frown face, like, are you sure you're straight? Like, what's going on? So I can't really speak to that, but sexual fluidity is just one thing that men aren't really afforded. Is like, if you're gonna do something, you gotta do it in quiet and hope it never gets revealed. And another thing I would say is that when it comes to the bedroom, it's like there are certain things that men just don't want to do, right? I think for women, you were all given the ability to be as free as you want, into some regards. Unless you grow up in a Hasidic Jewish community, you know, you're probably getting penetrated with a sheeple. But in other cases,
Oh my God.
let's say here, it's kind of like men aren't expected to have to say, you know, I want my booty eaten, or, you know, babe, can you penetrate me today? Like, it's not something that's expected of men to do. You know what I mean? You get looked at funny. I know if I went to one of my fellas and was like, yo, you won't believe what me and Shorty did last night. You know, she told me to toot it up and twerk, and, you know.
Not toot it up.
Right.
Tune it up.
That's that.
I've heard that in a minute.
Right. That's that packet. Yeah.
It would not surprise me.
All about it.
I think a strong individual to get pegged. Okay.
Woo, child.
Again, it ain't part of the vocabulary. What do you guys think? My fellas on the pod, what do you guys think? Yes or no, true or false? And I'll hand it over to the ladies to give their 2 cents.
Well, for me, I think, yeah, I do think there's a double standard with that. I mean, I think even like you see it on TV, you know, just even on shows. Damn, I forgot the name of this show I was watching on Netflix. Like, my wife was watching it back a few days ago, but it was like there was a gentleman who's from Atlanta, and then I guess the whole premise of the show was they're trying to match different couples up, but he had prior relationships with men, and you know, as he disclosed that to the female, like she just looked at him sideways and had all these different type of like connotations about like the type of person he was. But you know, I do think that, you know, if it's fair to say that there's an age or a point in life where people need to figure themselves out, then it should be people who need to figure themselves out, right? It shouldn't be like women need to figure themselves out, but she kissed a girl. Like, you can kiss a girl on TV. You can kiss a girl, you can kiss your best friend, and then you can go into the very next room and go, you know, with your husband or your significant other or male, and they won't look at you sideways. Now, if you see a man do the same thing, then the perception of that man definitely changes. So, I mean, it doesn't affect me, but it doesn't. But I think if we want to be in society equal and fair, then we need to be equal. Yeah.
Well, you're saying men should get penetrated too?
Set yourself up for that one. Set yourself up for that one.
You know what? Selassie is my brother in arms. I love him to death. So if he wants to get penetrated, I will not hold it against him.
I'm glad.
It just won't be me.
Support.
It just will not be me.
If you're a man and you want to get penetrated, go for it. At the end of the day, when it comes down to men, it's kind of tough. So the way I look at it in society, when AIDS hit the scene, it was associated with men having sex with other men. That's why people look at it sideways. Where it's like, oh, you're carrying a disease that can kill me. So it kind of broke that down. And you talk about that male bravado where like I can beat my chest and do all this stuff. But if I do something feminine, then I'm seen as soft or I can't handle being a man, which isn't necessarily true at all. So my thing is, it's just that me personally, I mean, if you're a dude sleeping with another man, that's fine, but there's just no issue with that. What it comes down to is your character as an individual. I don't think a woman should look at him sideways because that means that you're not secure within yourself. So your thing is, it's just like, oh, well, if I'm with him, he's going to sleep with another man. No, not necessarily. If you're treating him right and doing the right things and he wants to be with women at that time, then understand your place. It's just like if a man is with a woman that used to be gay or still gay, whatever case may be, he doesn't really second guess himself. He's like, okay, this is cool. This is awesome. This is amazing. And he moves through it. So it's just that shift in the mindset where it's just like, let people be people. The more you chain them to a certain narrative, the more you're going to miss out on who they are. So Glenn, if you want to get pegged, go ahead and get pegged.
So now this is suddenly turning into a...
Oh my gosh.
So that's 2 for keeping score. That's 2 for pegged and 0 for not getting pegged.
Right.
Shots fired.
What's up, Dre? What you got on this subject?
Yeah, I mean, I think you definitely hit on the. I think the main rules. I think that there are for women versus men. I may have a different take on it. That I'm okay with the rules being different. I mean, we have different rules that apply to us in life. To me, when it's involved with sex, it's no different. So, yeah, I think it's one of those things where. I guess I don't know why there are different rules, but to me, it's no different from, I guess, any other topic, which I'm sure we'll probably talk about coming up shortly.
All right, and I'll just throw one more thing out there to get off the pegging subject. But ladies,
you just had to mention it. You just had to mention it.
That's 3 times.
Someone's not confident.
It's the peg shot game. So every time you hear the word peg, take down one. It's on me. So I would also say that men are also held to a higher standard when it comes to performing in the bedroom too. It's like if a woman doesn't orgasm or climax, the D was trash. You know what I mean? But it's like at the same time that we have to take care of ourselves, women also have to take care of themselves to make sure they can also function in that area too. Like, how do I know maybe the vagina's not broken? You know what I mean? If I'm doing everything in the above, you don't climax.
Does the vagina
like,
not broken?
Broken pussy now.
It doesn't mean that it's broken.
Someone wants to get something off their chest to pretty much say that they're not confident in their bed game.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with it being broken. It's just,
you from
Jamaica, a lot of
right?
factors. From what I understand, there's a lot of factors involved sometimes with. But I guess we'll have the ladies talk.
Let's hear it from the ladies.
But the broken.
Ladies, performance. Fill us in.
Yeah, check him for saying that broken.
I'm just throwing things out there. I don't necessarily believe these things, so I'm just throwing it out there.
Lord, you make it sound like it's a broke down car.
We talked about broken dicks on our episode, so what's the goddamn difference, really?
Right?
Men with erectile dysfunction. We talked about that one time.
Facts on
Same
facts.
thing. Women with low
If
libido.
it's up, then it's up. Then it's up. If it's not,
That's it.
I mean, this is some
Period.
thing. Round 1.
Just saying that. So what about the sexual rules then? So let's what's your take on it? Are they really different from men and women, or are they essentially the same but just different boundaries?
For me, it's essentially the same, just with different boundaries. A lot of times people have their self-limited beliefs, which is a learned behavior. So it's something that they learn from their parents, and their parents learn from their grandparents. So they're being very selective in their experience. And it's not saying, oh, you got to go out here and do Tom, Dick, and Harry, or Sue, or Karen, or Patricia. But it's like, yeah.
Selena always has like 5 names she gonna just let y'all know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bing, 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 bing. Yeah. So it's like when you limit yourself to just a select few, then you're limiting your, especially your sexual experience. Live and let live. Nobody has a heaven or hell to put you in. This is your life. How you gonna do it? You got to be you for a long time. You're gonna be you for the rest of your damn life. So you're gonna either, go ahead and have the experience that you want. And the thing is that you ain't got to tell nobody because ain't nobody's business. It's like, this is my lane. You stay in yours, and we good. Let me be great. I'm gonna let you be great, but don't cross that line because I'm gonna take my car and I'm gonna hit you because you ain't got no business. It's as simple as that.
Is this the car we're talking about, like a physical car, or what you talked about, the broke down pussy car?
Oh my God.
We not talking about the broke down pussy. No, we don't do that here.
I like Chucky.
I do too. He quick with it. He's like snap. But I just think
please do not encourage him. Please don't encourage him.
Yes.
But right. Yeah. But I just
witty. He's real witty.
Yeah. But I just think that to each its own, and nobody should be judging anybody. But whatever you vibe to, whatever your frequency is, if you want to go ahead and you want to be that squirrel and get that done, then go ahead and get that. There ain't nothing wrong with that. But guess what? Privacy is life. It really is. Because as long as people don't know, they ain't got no room to judge and stuff. So do what you want. Go ahead and do that.
Just keep it in the closet. That's what you're saying.
Okay. It's not necessarily keep it in the closet.
Yeah.
But certain individuals that want to, if that thing is thinging and they want to find out, then they can find out. I'm just saying.
Pretty effing much, you guys.
Pegwife.com.
Right.
I guess any other thoughts on behalf of Black Women Heal on this?
Nah, I think Selena. I don't have.
Yeah, Selena pretty much laid it out.
She laid it out for us. Okay. Points. Okay.
Yeah, they definitely did. All you guys did, especially I resonated with what Glenn said the most, as well as Chunky too. But y'all know I resonate with everybody.
Yeah.
She's resonating.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. All right, so
I'm not messing with you. Actually, you're like, I'm not gonna do that.
Right,
Sheena. That was Sheena.
No, it's Ashley.
I'm on my best behavior. We in somebody else's house.
Okay.
We're not at home.
Okay.
All right, so let's run into the discussion then. Let's run into the topic. And let's start off with the first question. And we're just going to use this to get a general overview, kind of a census on the matter, to see, if we live up to what we say. And the first things first, are you currently in a relationship and or dating? If so, how many of you were friends with your partner before pursuing a serious relationship? And just in case people forgot what we're talking about here, the name of today's episode is But You Say She or He Is Just a Friend. Exploring opposite sex relationships while you may have a relationship of your own. So let's jump into it. We'll start off with the ladies first, of Black Women Heal. Doesn't have to go in any particular order. I guess whoever's first up. Are you in a relationship and or dating? If so, how many of you were friends with your partner before getting into a serious relationship?
Yes, I've been married for 16 years. He's my best friend. Thank you. He's my best friend. He's been my best friend for the duration of that time. And it did start off as a friendship. Absolutely. It moved very quickly, but it did start off as a friendship. And now we're 5 kids later. So
I got 5 kids to feed. I love that. Total recall.
A multitude of kids. Okay.
Got to start in 5. Yeah.
Yes.
Lineup.
Okay. Points for friendship.
Yes.
All right. That was Boss Lady. How about you, Monique?
But no, we were not friends. We came in knowing what we wanted from the jump. And we have been married for 10 and a half years. Been together for 12 years, going on 13 years. We have 1 son, and that's about it. But yeah, we were not friends first. We came in knowing exactly what we wanted when we wanted it.
Lucky you. That's an oxymoron today. That's almost impossible to find today.
Right. Yeah, I've been blessed. The mess out there in the dating market.
You could say that again.
We talked about that a couple weeks ago too, and it's not pretty out there. So let's talk about Cheyenne. How about you?
Well, I'm still dating, trying to figure things out. I definitely recommend being friends first. Dating the person, vetting the person to try to figure out if you guys are on the right page, if you're going in the same direction, because if not, the whole purpose of dating is to figure out if you guys are moving in the same direction. If not, cut it off and move on to the next. So I'm in that process, trying to figure things out.
Real quick question. Are you one of those people that, like you said, vetting the person? So in my head, I'm thinking like you're on your computer hitting up all your girlfriends like, hey, you got background information on this man? Like every search, making sure who they say they are, every social media page.
See,
sometimes you have to.
That's what you do in high school, okay? But when I say vetting the person, it's like you actually go out on dates, you ask questions. And I'm not talking about you sitting at a table as a woman, because women have the tendency to keep talking, and you give all the information and then the guy just kind of go off of the information provided. No, vetting the person, take the conversation off of yourself and actually listen and focus in on what he's saying, because that's going to give you a clear cut direction as to where his mind at and what his plans are for the future. Don't sit there and run off at the mouth and tell him I'm looking for XYZ, and you just talking 100 miles a minute and you don't allow him the opportunity to speak. Every time he directs that conversation to you, bring it back to him, because you want to know what he has to offer, what he's bringing to the table, and not me giving you all the information and you agreeing with it. That's getting somebody.
You just brought out the inner Trini.
Yes.
I'm gonna always take it to church on you. Okay.
Yes.
Don't worry, Cheyenne.
And Chunky gonna do the benediction. Monique is gonna say the prayer, and Sheena gonna say the scripture. Exactly. And we're gonna sing a hymn, and we're gonna go out. Yep.
I'm an Aries that could be very agreeable. You just gotta talk to me nicely. Listen.
Exactly. No, Aries, we don't talk nicely.
Hold up, you're an Aries too. Let me find
Lord.
It's about to get
this is a problem.
Let me shut up. Let me shut up because my moon is in Aries. Let me shut up. My moon's in Aries. So let me just shut myself up.
This is going to be exciting.
All right. So do we have any other takes on the matter then? I guess we already heard from one person that has been friends, and we see that it worked out. Congrats, boss lady. And Monique on the other hand, Cheyenne is still figuring out, but I'm pretty sure that won't be too hard for you. And let's see who else we have here. Sheena, before you get too high, can you tell us what's going
Still
on?
have this one left. Single and trying to date. It's real ghetto out here in the dating pool, so yeah, that part.
Trying to date.
Trying to date. Yeah, it's like not a lot of good candidates and stuff.
Okay. You can speak to that.
Well, I'm single and I'm not interested in dating right now. I'm focused on building my legacy, my empire. And when the good Lord sends him, he will make him known to me, because I'm all about energy. I'm all about vibes. And if the vibe is off, we off.
Okay.
Not
so
playing no games.
So you're waiting for Boaz to come, and it sounds like you might be an advocate for the friends, making friends first.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. That's how my my mother, she, oh Lord, I'm gonna pray for that woman. She is a, very strong Leo woman. And she basically told me from a very young age, it's better to be, start off as friends, get that foundation, know what they like, dislike, so you can see when they're angry, see how they treat their family, their friends, everything. Like if they got an upset stomach, like how they feeling, learn all that stuff too, because then getting into a relationship will be as easy as breathing. It won't have to be so complicated. You won't have to worry about, oh, well, he got to make this much or she got to make this much. Because if you're friends already, you're going to know that. And it's not going to really matter, because if they getting their bread and you getting your bread, oh, then you good. You gravy. It's a whole team player thing. You know, I play sports, so I'm a team player all day, every day. So it's like if my partner, if they slacking, like, hon, I don't know what's going on. What's going on? Talk to me. Don't think of me as your girl. I'm your friend. What's good? What's popping? Where you need help with? I got you. So that's just how I roll.
I felt like pulling out the organ on that one. It's like, damn it.
All right, so let's go to our fellas then. Fellas, how many of you were friends? And, you know, for the most part, fellas here are all married. How many of you were friends with your partner before jumping the broom, getting into a serious relationship? And we'll start off with you, D Black.
We weren't friends. We were actually probably more like enemies. No, I'm just playing. Well, at first, I think I told this story a long time ago, but when we first met, we really didn't like each other. So it just took us kind of getting past those first initial introduction woes. Because I think naturally, and it's so funny because I was actually thinking about this a little bit more, but I feel like, you know, we do approach a lot of relationships with a high level of kind of guard. And if it wasn't for the fact that we had additional opportunities to interact, we probably wouldn't be together today, because we both approach each other very kind of apprehensive, you know, and it almost discouraged us from, you know, getting into the relationship that we have today. So, but I don't know, it's really hard. I think it's hard, but I think it's very difficult to have a female friendship that like, and when I say that, I'm gonna be really clear on what I mean by that. But like every day, you guys are hanging out every single day. You guys are, or like you confide in that person every single day. Like that's your number one person to go to. And just from my experience, it just has not worked out. You know, I'm not trying to gas about myself, but it's like anytime I've had a long-term female friend, they've always caught feelings, and it's always been complicated because I've always been in a relationship. So it's like, you know, now they're expecting me to kind of like, well, I know you better. You're complaining about issues with your significant other. You should come to me because I know how to deal with those problems. I'm like, I mean, you're supposed to be my homie. You know, that's not how I'm supposed to approach this. Like, you're not supposed to try to catch feelings off of this, you know? And, you know, you try to be respectful, but it does, I feel like once you cross that relationship, once somebody has that mindset that if there's a potential for there to be a relationship, it's really, really hard to walk it back, you know? And I end up losing those friendships. So just to avoid that, you know, I try not to have like, I mean, I have female friends that I'm okay with, that we do talk occasionally, but not to severity of, you know, every day hanging out or routinely hanging out with, you know?
Yeah, and that's one of the questions we'll get into as well, as far as how many, you know, opposite sex friends does anyone have on the show. But as far as you started, you know, you didn't start off as friends with your wife today. It started off as a serious relationship to start, or courting or dating, and then boom, into marriage.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, yeah, I guess I kind of went down the wrong rabbit hole, but yeah. So with me and my girl, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just very much I'm very traditional, like old school guy. I'm hold the door open person, pull the chair out, you know, like that's how I am. But the funniest thing about that is what I've learned is like, because my grandmother used to always be like, oh, every girl wants a traditional guy, but that's definitely not the truth. Because my girl is absolutely not about that. She's not about like holding the door so I can get my own damn door, you know.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's just how she is. But it's just like, I mean, in the areas where she expects me to be traditional, I am. But in the spur where I'm not, you know, we found that balance. But yeah,
and traditions change over time as
and
well.
That's a fact too.
Yeah. So let's get into the rest of the panel. Dre.
Yeah. So I'm currently married. Been married for 6 years. Been with my wife for 11 years. I had really crazy before meeting my wife on our first date. I had all these ideas that I was going to be out here in these streets. I was going to be dating. I was going to be trying to juggle. But I went on a date with her, and literally, like that was it for me. You know, I guess is I know we joke with me being the light skinned person. I knew right away that my wife was someone special, and all that went out the window. So that was my plan to to maybe date, right? To maybe try to grow a friendship, because I had been in serious relationships before and maybe kind of jumped into relationships too easily or too quickly, which I did again with my wife, which obviously I'm really happy that I did. But yeah, I think I don't think we were technically friends. I think right away we knew, that we were really serious about each other. We wanted to be only with each other. We did, as much as possible, try to grow a friendship as well as, being great partners to each other. But yeah, I don't know. I guess if I try to like think about it, I don't know if I could have been friends with her without there being anything to that. So I think it would have been really difficult if maybe she just wanted to be friends. I don't think I would have been able to be friends with her. Maybe that's another thing that we'll talk about as well later.
Yeah,
but,
definitely will.
But yeah.
All right. Chunks, your take.
Save the best for fucking last, right? Cool. Hey. So straight up, I did not date my wife. I was not friends with her. We dated immediately. This is the person I am. I'm not gonna waste your time. So all this like, oh, this is how I'm gonna be, this is what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put my best foot forward. No, I want to know upfront whether or not you like me for the person that I am. This is how I treated my mother, the females in my family. These are my friends. Like me, Glenn and D-Ron have known each other for a very, very long time. I would say straight up, Glenn is the polar opposite of me. And if you can sit through a conversation that me and Glenn has where I'm about to punch him in the throat and he says some derogatory things to me to make me cry, then cool. You're with it, we're in it. With D-Ron, it's just like we play sports together. I play video games with him all the time, and that's the stuff you have to handle, and it's up front. So that's one thing in life you can't get back is your time. So I'm not going to waste yours because I don't want you to waste mine. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, I'm going to tell you how I am. I don't like to be phony. I don't like to be fake. If you don't like me, yeah, there's a lot of people that didn't want to be with me. Cool, whatever. But I got lucky with my wife. She wants to be with me. She does talk back to me. she's very, very strong. She
what's her sign?
She's a Virgo.
And you are a
Aries.
So it works out perfectly. So it's a great
what any of that stuff means. So
it's a great balance.
Okay.
She doesn't hold any punches. If she has to say something to me, she says it to me, even though it will hurt my feelings. I just have to accept it. But it's for growth. In the moment, I don't think so. It's just like, how dare you say this to me? I'm a man, blah 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 blah. And then she'll say something slick back. I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna shut up and sit down. But nonetheless, me personally, just give it to people up front. That's it. I'm not going to bullshit you because I just don't have the patience for that. So okay. All right, I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm done.
So far we've seen
that
like
energy.
We've seen a mixed response on the matter. So here we have people that were upfront, direct, said, hey, I want you. We're going to start something. We're going to do something, whether you like it or not. And we have other people that have become friends and extended the relationship past that. I guess extended the fig branch or fig leaf to the promising long-term relationship, like Boss Lady said. And for myself, I am currently in a relationship, not married, but in a relationship. And we did not start off as friends. We knew of each other prior, through college and through affiliations, but never sat down and had a friendship. I've had friends of the opposite sex, and I can say that we'll get into it, but a lot of them didn't go very well for the obvious different reasons. But other than that, to me, it's either way. It could start off as a friendship and grow to something more, or you can start off being direct in the curtain, telling them exactly what you want, and it can extend on. So there's no wrong way to do it, but I would say the key thing is obviously communication, expressing what you want and what you expect to get out of the relationship. So now that we kind of addressed that piece, let's just do a general consensus. How many of you have friends of the opposite sex today? And how many?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
All right. So,
actually, I have several.
Okay. All right. So how many of these grew intimate? Can you say, if you want to say, or how many of them?
None of them.
Purely platonic.
It's purely platonic. Zero.
Absolutely none. Zero.
Absolutely.
So here's my thing on that. I don't know. I'm not saying that it's not possible. I'm not saying it's not possible, because I do believe in, there's extremes in every scenario, but I feel like in the majority sense, a heterosexual man, if he is talking to a female, most likely if there's a possibility to like make a relationship with her, he will. But
That's my sense.
But I mean, again, not in my opinion, but I think that, women ultimately control how that narrative goes. If a man is bold enough to tell you straight up to your face hey, I'm honestly, if you give me a shot, I'm digging you, but most dudes aren't. Most dudes are going to be like, they're going to try to feel you out and see what's up. Like, oh, she's really not feeling me like that. She really wants to be like slow and kind of play like a friend. All right, I'm going to sit in that lane until my opportunity presents itself.
There was that study though that said that a lot of women who are in relationships have that one male friend kind of around that they could see themselves being in a relationship with, that may just be kind of like sitting. There was some, I'll see if I can find the study, but it said that there are some women who have male friends who are platonic, who they're not interested in having a relationship with, but maybe the guy could get chose if the situation presented itself where she was no longer in a relationship. So I think it kind of works on both sides. I think kind of sometimes men get the bad rap on that, but I think in this case, I think this is a fairly equal thing.
Yeah, I just cut to the chase. I mean, like if the energy is there, if the vibe is right, just like, within, let's say a 5-minute or 10-minute period, if you can see yourself with that person, you're going to know, for some, you're going to know if you're evolved, if you have your awareness, then you're going to actually know, okay, this person is a friend. I can see something here. I can only say that for me. That's how I roll. As far as like friends and stuff, and I can because I actually talked to my best friend David. What was it? Today? No, I think it was like yesterday or Friday, and we've been friends for like ever. And everybody assumed that oh, y'all got down and stuff. We was like, no, at the same time, because we're so cool. He did approach me when we first met. He did approach me on wanting to get to know me. And this was my honest response. He was like, well, I'm interested in getting to know you, talk to you. And I said, it's not going to work for me. He said, why? I said, because there's a height requirement and you don't fit it. I was straight, honest to the point. But you know what? He laughed so damn hard and we both did. And then after that, we became friends. Like he tells me what's going on with him. I tell him what's going on with me. There's a certain level of respect and we communicate effectively and we respect where we are. So those boundaries never get crossed because once I'm a Taurus. Once I say this is it and my decision is made, it takes an act of God to change it.
But you said something very interesting here, because now I feel like, I mean, you it's like basically you have defined what your relationship is. It's not that you both defined what your relationship is. You defined it because he ultimately wanted to. So basically, he wanted to approach you, but his mindset was like, well, this is an awesome person. I guess subconsciously, like, this is an awesome person. Either I walk away from the situation or the only thing she's allowing me is friendship. So I can only go up to friendship. But if you did give him an opportunity to actually approach you from a relationship, that means he might take it. Because that's because he took it from because he approached you from the very beginning.
Right. He approached me.
But he approached him in the friend zone. You put him in the friend zone. So
for me, it was
2 a.m., 12 a.m. Tell him to come scratch this itchy guy.
He gonna show up.
That's
the test.
Okay, so I'm gonna channel my inner Chunky right now, and I'm gonna ask you a question.
Sure, go right ahead.
I know you're obviously not looking for a relationship right now, but let's just say you get into a relationship with someone else. How does that relationship change with your friend, and how do you think your new partner would feel knowing that your friend wanted to be with you? Like, I wonder how that relationship may change. And I guess, are you prepared to deal with that dynamic? Because just speaking from myself, I won't speak for all men, but I think, I consider myself someone who's not very jealous or whatever, but that would probably be the closest I would ever get to being jealous. Like, why are they so close? Like,
Right.
He wanted to talk to you. Like, yeah, how would that relationship
well,
change?
you know what? I've been in a situation similar to that. And my number one thing is I'm going to be true to myself. Number one. Number two, I'm going to be transparent as fuck. Point blank, no matter how hard it hurts and everything else it is in between. This is the situation. This is what's going on. It's not saying I'm over here killing people's dreams and stuff, but I'm not going to give somebody smoke and mirrors in the hopes that if something happens with this current relationship, I got this one in my back pocket. The way my conscience is set up, she whipped my ass just for saying something wrong to somebody, and I apologize. So I'm always mindful of how I treat others because I remove myself from the situation and try to look at it at all perspectives to get that's my rising Libra coming out. And just looking at the perspective as a whole, because my thing is people's feelings are going to get hurt. However, I'd rather hurt you with the truth than comfort you with a lie. Ooh. Because then that's on my head, and that's unnecessary, and that's unnecessary karma that doesn't need to be created, because it may not kick your ass right now, but it may do something down the road that you're trying to do when we don't do that here.
I think Dre was really coming from the perspective of the man, though. Like, if he was in your man's shoes, and this is just in general, not necessarily aimed at Salida, but just in general, like if a man knows that at some point your male bestie or friend that you constantly keep in contact with on a monthly, weekly basis, however, knows that at some point he tried to holler at you and or has had the booty, okay, he's gonna be like, well, no matter what you tell me, Salida, if I'm not available to come do something for you, there's a possibility you're gonna call him. And then can I trust him around you, not necessarily you around him.
Or your friend, or your friend just may be scheming. Or your friend just may be scheming, right?
No, I get what you're saying, because I had that happen in my my previous relationship, and I made it my business for them to meet in person. And I was there, I was around, and I let them go ahead and have a conversation. And then I asked them both on separate terms, how did they feel about it? What kind of vibes did you get? Because I'm not a man, I'm a woman. So another man is going to be able to pick up another man's energy, like my father says. So after I got the consensus out, everything balanced out. So whenever my best friend did call me and I answered my phone, I'm talking to him, and I would make it a point to say, babe, I'm on the phone with David. David says, hey, how you doing? Always addresses whoever I'm with, point blank, because people are not being transparent and honest, and people's feelings is getting all kinds of hurt left and right, hopes, everything. And then they want to be popping up at people's house and stuff like, hey, yo.
So he was attracted to you at one point. Don't you think he's gonna always be attracted to you, though?
And we'll get to that too. We'll get to these some great questions.
I got two things on that. The entire time you were talking.
One second. So let's just get back into the discussion. Let's get back on focus. We'll get to those points though. So I'll just throw this out there, and I guess, is there anyone else that has had a friend of the opposite sex and till this day that remains platonic at all? I know, Salida, you were on the hot seat for a little bit, so I kind of want to.
Oh, don't bother me. No, don't bother me.
From the group. If not, then we'll definitely move on to the next point, and then we'll drop those. I think we'll touch on those two things with the rest of this part. If not, then all right. So let's think about it this way: if you're not engaging anything intimate or looking for a long-term relationship with these opposite sex friends, can we really say that these friendships hold any value, or do they have any benefits? Or are they just burdens? And let's say any member of the panel, would you like to start off on that one? Is there any value in having opposite sex friendships?
Not when you're in a relationship.
Yeah, right. There may be value up until the point of being in a relationship. Now, when you're in a relationship, if the ultimate goal is marriage, I'm a firm believer you have to act the part before you get into the situation. So if you want to be a husband or you want to be a wife, you have to act in that position before you become in that position, if you understand what I'm saying. And one of the vows of marriage is forsaking all others, whether that's your friends, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother. I don't care, because if me as your woman is coming to you, I don't care what relationship as a friend you guys had prior to me. If I'm telling you that I am uncomfortable with this situation, then you need to act accordingly, because forsaking all others, I don't care how long, because it's a respect thing. I have had male friends in the past that were married, and when they were in their marriage, our interaction became less and less as a respect thing. It's a respect thing. As a woman, you can't be best friends with a man that's in a whole situation, because if the shoe was on the other foot, you would not like it, period. You would not like it. You don't want your man to be best friends with another woman and he calling her every day and she calling him. The stuff he should be talking to you about, he's talking to her about. That's unacceptable, because that opens up the door for emotional attachments to people. And these are the attachments that you should be creating within your own relationship. So I don't agree with it. I don't stand for it. There might be 1% of the population that could be Platonic, but I think the majority, like stated before, there's some kind of underlying attraction in these situations. And whether they let it draw out for years and wait for that opening, a man knows why he don't want his woman to be best friends with another male, because he's a man himself. So I don't agree with that situation. I don't agree. And that's my take.
Good
I
take.
think the only time I've seen it work is when I have a friend that I've known for a very long time. She has a male best friend, and they call each other bro and sis. The only time that I know it to work is when the person that you are with is also very close to that person that you were close to before you guys came into a relationship. So, for instance, my friend, she has a best male friend who she calls bro, and he calls her sis. But her partner, her fiance, is also and has become very close to that bro. That's the only time I can see it working. And that's the only time I've ever seen it work.
I agree.
And her partner,
that's the right way to do it.
Yep. Yeah. Her partner and the bro are like, they have a group chat with some of the other fellas and stuff like that. Like, she's actually introduced her partner to other men that she was male friends with, that she had male friends with before they got together. But those male friends have turned into bros for him. And that's the only time I think it can work. And vice versa.
I like one thing that was a common theme was just like, you have your partner or your husband meet the other dude. And I think it was Lena that said it was just like, men can figure each other's vibes out. And there was a theory growing up that I ran with, and it evolved as I got older. I was like, does that man know me? Yes. Does that man fear me? Okay, introduce me to him. I will murder your whole fucking face. I mean,
I got Mortal Kombat. Finish him.
But as I grew older, it's more of a respect thing, right? So either you respect the person or you fear the person. But to be more mature, having that respect is like, they know the boundaries not to cross. And one thing that was being said is just like, it turned into a group text chat, right? And it's just like, everyone's bros, everyone understands each other, and information flows back and forth. And that's where we should be as adults. So I'm not beyond taking that approach where it's just like, yo, like, let me meet this dude. I'm not going to bow up, but let me feel him out. Does he feel my presence as a masculine man? Do I feel his presence as a masculine man? Is there respect there, and is it going to come there? If there's no respect and I know he's scheming, I'm going to put the hurting on his fool when he's not paying attention. I'm going to let you know I don't like this situation. But, growing up, it's just like, do the right thing at the right time. But valid points all across the board.
Well, I think I'll throw my take in there. Yeah.
Somebody gotta be alpha,
Yeah.
I'll throw my take in there. Being someone that has friends of the opposite sex, I wouldn't say they exist so much today, but I think like age is a factor as well, as far as like the nature of these relationships. I think we find it a lot easier when we're young adults to foster relationships with the opposite sex, because a lot of the times we're meeting people that we're probably not even thinking about the relationship, right? You're just meeting someone that you may have a common interest with, that may be in your neighborhood, that you grew up with, and it's a different story. And as we continue to grow and evolve, these mating, strategies and mindsets come into play, and it could kind of muddy the situation. But I do think it's possible to maintain friends while in a relationship. It's just a matter of establishing boundaries, and we'll get to that as well. But it's not to say that it's a do-all without even having to set all the men up. Like you have a male friend, you're gonna, let's say he's like overseas and you're dating someone currently, you're gonna like arrange for them to meet so he's aware of him. Like to me, it's kind of like your friends that were there before your relationship matter the most, because guess what? When you break up with this person, you're still gonna have your friends for the most part. So if you choose to burn your every bridge with someone that you've had connections with prior, it's like hold on to those friends, because honestly, you don't know where your intimate relationship is going. And then if anything, it adds additional benefits to your existing relationship to say, hey, these are the people that made me who I am today. You know, these are the people I'd like you to meet. And if that person is willing to open that up, I'm down for it, because honestly, it's a lot easier to meet a male friend than to meet a baby daddy. Let's be for real. So where it's like, if we have kids from other men and we're willing to introduce new men into the picture, we don't think about it then, but yet when we have friends, it's like all of a sudden it's a taboo thing where, you know, one relationship, you're tied to this person for pretty much forever, you know, like it or not. We lose friends just as we lose relationships. So in a study conducted by Heidi Reid, it was actually determined that there's 4 types of attraction common amongst people. And one of them was like the friendship attraction, where, you know, you're attracted to someone of the same sex, heterosexual or not, just because you enjoy being with them. There was a subjective physical and sexual attractions, means you pretty much want to have sex with the person and you're attracted to them physically. There's romantic attraction, which I think a lot of people had here, the married folk. You kind of were direct and say, hey, this is what I want to do. And there's the objective, where you may think the person is physically attractive, but you have no interest in being with them. So it's kind of like, there's so many layers to attraction. It's kind of like a matter of figuring it out. But the way it sounds here, it's like, if you're in a relationship, you might be bringing on a burden to your relationship if you have friends of the opposite sex.
So I got a quick question. So the baby daddy thing, I kind of look at that different, because it's just like, that's your child's father, right? So there really isn't a discussion there. It's just like, you're going to have to deal with them, whether I like them or not. It's not about me and that dude, it's about the child. So the more the child can see us getting along with one another, I think the better the development for the child is. So like any man or any female that's like, oh no, that's, you know, your baby mama or your baby daddy, I'm not dealing with it, I think that's immaturity. So it doesn't matter if the baby daddy's texting you at 1 a.m. because something's happening with the child. Okay. But the baby daddy's texting you 1 a.m. off some stupid shit, it has to be analyzed for the simple fact that it could be about child support. It could be about something important. And it's up to the person to manage that relationship with the other parent. So I don't think that falls into the same category, but Glenn, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think that's going to apply regardless. I just use that example because it's like, okay, there's no severing this. You know, you may think that with my friends, I can just say, okay, guess what, buddy? I found another guy. You know, was he a friend all along from the beginning? If that is the case, maybe he was someone you were pursuing, but never really owned up to the idea that you wanted something more, but now you found somebody else and now you don't want to muddy the situation. So the example used there was to present the idea that, hey, there's really no escaping this, you know, whether or not baby dad or baby moms, let's keep it inclusive. If that's the case, you know, you have to navigate these relationships the same as you would with that. So why are we less likely to do it if that is the case with our own friends that we've been with for a long period of time? So
the thing that I learned is that relationships will change once you get in a relationship, or so I had women friends before when I started dating my wife. A couple of those friendships remained. Some of them had to change completely. Some of them had to end just because, you know, boundaries weren't, you know, upheld or whatever. So to me, I think as long as you're going into it being really respectful to your new partner, obviously respectful to your friends as well, but your good friend can't get between you and your new relationship, right? So there has to be that balance. Agree with you, Glenn. You don't necessarily want to get rid of all of your friends, but there does become a point where like your friends should, if they are your friends, right, they should kind of know that they have to take a step back and that your friendship is going to change, right? It may not be the same as it once always was, right? We may only talk one time a month, right? We may only talk a couple times a year. We may only get to see each other one time a year, right? Our friendship is going to change. And I think you just need to really be mindful, I guess, on both ends. But you can't let your friendships ruin your relationship. It's just kind of my the stance I've always tried to take. Yeah,
I agree. All right, so since we're all honing in on this particular topic, so I'm just going to jump right into it then. What are the boundaries? Do boundaries need to be set when keeping friends of the opposite sex when in a relationship? And if so, provide your top 3 rules. Let's start off with the fellas here. So let's start off with D Black. Are there any boundaries you need to keep when you're in a serious relationship and entertaining your friends?
Yeah, I think that there's definitely boundaries. As far as what those specific boundaries are, it's always kind of tough. Like beyond like no sleepovers, like I don't do slumber parties. We're not doing slumber parties anymore. But I don't know. I feel like with every relationship you have, it's gonna be like, all right, you're gonna identify what those items are that make you uncomfortable. And you know, the one thing I did want to I'll kind of use this opportunity to also address is not necessarily, in my opinion, like a jealousy aspect. You know, if anything, you know, when you're with someone in a monogamous relationship, you know, you are theirs, they're yours. And maybe sometimes men, we can be a little bit more possessive because that's how we are. We're very territorial by nature. So honestly, I don't consider myself a jealous person. And I've actually kind of struggled with that a little bit. Like, am I jealous or not? And I was like, no, I like my territory. I like to control my space. I like what's around me. This is my home. This is my wife. I am her husband. These are our boundaries. You know, this is how we operate. So, but anyway, back to the jealousy question. Back to the boundary question.
What's your top 3?
Yeah, no slumber parties that's not gonna happen.
Sleepover.
No sleepovers. Also then like weird calls, like anything. I don't necessarily have a time, but I feel like there is an air quote booty call hour. So after that, whenever that hour hits, my mind, you can't call. No, please, no phone calls. You said 10 o'clock, bro?
10 o'clock.
I'm in bed by 10, so yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, bad. Oh, man. I'm a night owl, so yeah, I think those are the main 2, you know. And then also, I guess in the second one is like, it can be kind of frustrating. It's like if I need you for something and you're constantly brushing me off to go attend to somebody else, like that can be frustrating. But that's not necessarily a boundary.
I think I only have 2 rules. I think the first one is I wouldn't do anything that I wouldn't do anything with this friend that I wouldn't do with my wife right there, right? So I think that kind of like keeps it super. I think it kind of encompasses sleepovers and any of those other things. I know there's some people who engage in those type of things in their relationships, but not me. So yeah, I think basically just having the same respect there. I think also just keeping my wife in the loop. So if something does come up where that friend says something to me that's inappropriate or whatever, just I wouldn't want my wife to not know. So to me, just kind of keeping her in the loop of things that's happening, you know, I guess just not being deceitful or not hiding. I think that's where some people get in trouble with these relationships is not being completely transparent with their partner. If someone does cross the line, right? Maybe even if it doesn't go anywhere, right? Your partner should know that, right? You shouldn't be keeping them. I think Jay-Z had a bar in 444 about that, right? Like a woman knew something about something that my wife didn't know. I don't remember the exact bar or whatever, but basically just not putting my wife in that situation where that person maybe has a one up on her, right? Where she knows that, you know, either way, right? Whether it's her saying something out of pocket to me or vice versa. So I think those are the 2 big ones. I can't think of any big ones. Maybe Chunky has some rules to add.
Carfax.
I have no rules to add. I just echo everything. It makes sense. Back to Salida, like you said something like when you first meet someone, you have like the first 5 seconds or 5 to 10 minutes.
5-10 minutes, yeah.
And the first thing, and then Dre said Jay-Z, and the what I thought about was the video, excuse me, miss, like when he hopped in the elevator and they're closed.
Yeah.
And, like, that whole that's super random. But nonetheless, yeah. No sleepovers. And yeah, just pass information. If you get a call at 1 a.m, that person better be in like need of our help. Like someone is dying or like they need to get out of a jam like immediately.
Yep.
So I think that makes perfect sense. Like anything else to add to that would just be like me just going on a rant. So yeah, those things are very key.
All right. So let's drop it over to the ladies. I'll drop some comments in there at the end. But
before ladies go, I just want to, if you don't mind, Slash. So I just think with guys, I don't know, maybe at least the guys on this panel, I just feel like it's not that complicated. It's when it comes to boundaries, even for other men or women, whoever the person is, I'm a firm advocate of communication. I think communication is the number one piece of any successful anything. So, so as long as you're constantly, speaking to your truth, you should be able to resolve your situations, whether it's together or apart. But yeah, with God, I really feel like it's so crazy how I was expecting like Drake drops some crazy, super complicated boundaries or even chunky, but it's like for us, it's just like as long as we're able to communicate through everything, and then you kind of respect the boundaries that we set as men for our relationship, for like our expectations, that we meet our expectations, then it should be fine.
Or that dude just gets his whole face murdered.
Just disappears.
That too. Better be worth it. All right, let's go to the ladies then. Sheena, we haven't heard from you in a bit. Give us your feedback. Are there boundaries? And when you have opposite sex friends and you're in a serious relationship? If so, what are your top three?
Yes, indeed. So I would say my top three would be don't call my phone all crazy hours unless it's like emergency. I would have to meet like, your spouse or girlfriend or whatever. Like we would have to meet each other's spouse to let it, so everybody can get comfortable. And I don't know. I don't know what the third one would be. That would just my two would be.
It could be two.
Those are my two important ones for me.
All right, bet. Anything else from the ladies? Anything
Yes.
different? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I only have a top one. My man, we have a unique situation. He's never been with a female that he hasn't had sex with. So even if she was a friend, they had sex. So the rule in my house relationship is he has no female friends besides me, and he's with it. He acknowledges that, like, he doesn't want to be with nobody else. So you know what I mean? And he's, like I say, he's never, even like when we came into our relationship, I have always had male friends because females have done me crazy, and I talk about that on our show. But I have distanced myself from them in my adulthood because of the very reasons that everybody's pretty much discussed. There's one that he knows personally, and we're friends with him, but it's still like this. He has his own life and stuff, but we're still, in communication with each other. But yeah, the rule in my house is no, there are no female friends because he's never had a female friend. So there's no need to start that now. And like I said, it's worked for this long. Now, if he had come from that background, like me, then it would be different. But he's always been completely honest. And like I said, he had a hard time believing that me and my male friends that I introduced him to were male friends. Like, he would even say to them, like, I know you, y'all, come on. And they're like, no, like, really my friend. You know what I'm saying? And he would look at them like when they was having their one-on-one time, you know what I mean? He would look at them like, for real? And they're like, nah, like, Shorty is my friend. Like, it's cool. Like, no, we never nothing. So yeah, he struggled with that in the beginning, but then he had no choice but to believe because it's the truth. So, but like I said, even with that being said, I have distanced myself. Some I've cut off, and some, like I said, we just distanced due to life taking its course. And like you said, they have wives. I have my man, and he's my best friend. He's replaced them, so to speak. So, but yeah, in my house, no, there will be no female friends. We do have like married acquaintances, you know what I mean? That people we powwow with, but their wives are not gonna be hitting my man like, hey, you know what I mean? No, there's none of that. So yeah, that's my different perspective on the topic. But that's due to the background, not to insecurities about it.
So let me throw this one out there then. Is there any point where it's okay to reveal issues in your intimate relationship with your opposite sex friend?
No.
Why is that?
Boundaries.
It's funny, we all saying no.
That's boundaries.
It is. That's my third rule.
Boundaries.
That's my third rule right there.
Yeah,
That's
boundaries.
Yeah.
Because there's too much. There's too much because that right there, if you are Right, exactly. It's like you're giving someone like too much access to you in that sense. What you do with your boo, your husband, whoever, that's between y'all in that department. Nobody ain't God. Like
Unless
you
you
don't
need
need
him to beat somebody else, that's the
it's
only time
right.
that y'all should
And that's
be
it.
having a conversation about another guy.
Yeah, because then it's like it's the other
Yeah.
person, because you know what, a lot of times, we want to be able to have that certain naivety to it, to where we say, yeah, they're my friend and they would never do that. But you know what? My favorite thing to say is that people never cease to amaze me. I don't give a damn how long you've known
Right.
somebody, because you giving them, they get that curiosity, like, oh, well, you got a problem doing that? Yeah, no, you about to get your eyes swole. How about that? You about to get an eye jammy.
Slither right in there like a little snake.
Right.
Yeah, and create a whole mess third party situation that indirectly, directly affects that party, but also all the other parties involved. So it's like, don't do it. Keep
walk in
that
on the bestie, telling them to toot it up. Taking it back.
I think that's 4 for Pagan for Glenn.
Yeah, 4-0.
Yes.
Ding, 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 ding.
It's all good. 'Cause we all know how it goes down here. So yeah, and that was definitely one of my points too, where it was just like, okay, if you have, because I have a relationship where my partner has friends of the opposite sex, and one of the things I fell into early was wanting to know, okay, we both went to the same school. I know what I did in college. I don't know what you did in college. Was there any point where you slept with any of my current friends in college? I wanted the Carfax. I wanted to know. I was like, please tell me before I find out.
Give me the 411.
Right.
Exactly.
Don't have me looking crazy out here.
Have me up here looking stupid.
The whole facts.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, so what? I them.
You don't know, but you don't need to know.
I feel like we do that a lot, where it's like, okay, did you have a relationship with that person? Did you sleep with that person? But like, as we mentioned, there's always those individuals that will be your friend because you put them in that zone. They have nowhere else to go but your friend. Like, if they want to be in a relationship with you, you won't grant them access to that. So even if you're saying, like, did you sleep with them or did you not sleep with them? That's fine. You didn't sleep with them. Okay, then that person gets a pass. No, but they're still waiting for their chance.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it turns out that
it's gonna be a long ass time.
It's hard.
You'll be surprised how some
eternity.
Right.
Exactly what Dre
Some
said.
people
What Chucky said, eternity. Because like I said, I'm a bull. It takes an act of God to change my mind, and I pick up on way too much stuff. But like, skirt, your ass is canceled. Welcome to the block party. I'm not playing no games.
Well, you might be the 1% that.
Yeah, I definitely am the 1%.
But
I'm definitely the 1%.
My thing is, if you're not comfortable having a conversation with that person as if I wasn't in the room, if you not comfortable having that conversation with me being right there, you shouldn't be having that conversation. Now
it is.
Because let's be honest, emotional connection to people sometimes is worse than cheating. You don't have to perform the act itself, but emotional attachments to people, i.e. discussing all the problems within my relationship with this other person, when you should be coming to me about the problems that I don't know about, that creates an emotional attachment to somebody else. And if you're not comfortable having a conversation in front of that person with me being there, that conversation should not be occurring. Period.
But then that brings us to the point that that's why we can't be putting our friends into our situations with
absolutely.
our romantic partners and or husbands and wives, whether they are male or female.
Right.
Yeah. Also, you put them in that situation, you tell them about a fight or something that you had, and then you guys make up. Your friend is always going to be thinking about that awful thing that your partner did.
Exactly.
They talk about it all the time on the show.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, you're telling the story from your side too, right?
Exactly.
So, like, you're not necessarily telling like the most accurate
all sides,
right?
You know,
It's
so
like
it's a very
naturally-
dangerous thing.
Right.
It's
And
like you guys
same
were-
point
you guys
goes
were
for
fighting
family
last
too.
week.
Yeah.
You guys were fighting last
Yep.
week. You make it
Right.
up, and now it's like you're trash. It's like,
And
but no, we made up. No, but
Right.
you're still trash though.
Right.
Right.
You're not
Yeah.
trash anymore. It's good.
garbage.
I think that also, I mean, I think that could also apply to same-sex friends too, right? In the sense where if you went to your female friend telling her all the dirty laundry, yo, you don't do this, you don't do that, or he do this and he do that,
And she like,
I never did that.
I don't like
before.
him.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I guess we could say there's boundaries regardless of same sex or opposite sex.
Right.
There's boundaries when it comes to relationships that apply to every type of relationship that you might have. So what about if we're not allowed, or if it's really a matter of it being opposite sex, what kind of relationships can we have? So if you're in a relationship, should that be limited to maybe social or like, I guess, professional connections that we limit our opposite sex relationships to?
I was gonna say you got to be careful about the work husbands. The work
Okay.
husbands.
That happens a lot.
The work husbands are the ones that really get you in trouble. It ain't the homeboys
Yes.
from back in
You
the
got, you got to
hometown.
be careful
It's them
for the work
husbands and
husbands. Man.
husbands and all them people. That's what you really got to worry about, because they work in the same work environment, and then you spend your most time with your family and the people that you work with and or do business with, you know, your employees and such like that, right? You gotta be careful of them.
see, I don't play that. I don't play them games.
No
Them
work
work
husbands
husbands is
No.
hell no.
It
Nope.
happens though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does. I've seen it. I've seen it live and in color, in technicolor. I'm sitting there eating my popcorn like, this is a good ass show.
On the copy printer, okay?
That thing happens all the time.
Vulnerability at the right time, and that's it.
Just for
They
just for
wait
those
in
people who
apparent
may
too.
not, just for everyone who may not know, a work husband or work, we'll be inclusive.
wife.
We'll also say work wife too.
Yes, sir.
So work
but-
spouse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
work spouse. We can say
Spouse.
work spouse.
Right.
But basically, there's kind of sometimes a hidden joke that, you know, someone will say that they're in like a, you know, relationship with, you know, when they go to work, that's the person who they eat lunch with, or that's the person who brings them coffee, right? They know the way that they like the coffee. It's just-
That's fact.
yeah, you got to be careful with those.
Spoil your
Yeah,
macchiato in the morning.
Did
you
my
know,
God.
yeah, like, you know, your work spouse just brings you a coffee at 3:00 every day because they know that you're, you know, you need it or
Just
whatever.
waiting for that opening.
Right.
Watch out for them
That shit
secretaries,
closed
ladies.
forever.
Watch out for them
Somebody
secretaries.
right
They
waiting,
ain't got
slide
no
in
time,
there.
watch her. She
Mm.
knows how much.
Yo, waiting to exhale moment at the job. I see it.
Yeah,
That's
burn the
crazy.
damn car.
That's crazy. All right, so I mean, so let's say that I ask this to the fellas then. If your wife said, you know what, I'm trying to get back in shape, I got myself a personal trainer. I guess how would you guys feel about that? Is it that like, okay, like what's the word? You have to go to the gym every day with her now, or like what's the situation there? How would you handle that? How does that make you feel?
I'll go first. I wouldn't mind. I would assume that my wife would have a trainer who would be respectful of her and her relationship. It does make me think of a reality show where a woman was had a trainer who was kind of cutting the kind of being a little extra with taking photos or whatever, and the husband had to Chunky's point, put hands on him. I want to say it was a Love and Hip Hop. It was a Love and Hip Hop scene where dude had to put hands on the trainer. But I don't think I would be too worried about it. I know my wife. I would hope that, or I know that she would kind of conduct herself in a way that's respectful to her, and she would, you know, probably not continue to keep on training with someone who was being inappropriate. So that wouldn't bother me at all. I don't think I want to like see photos of like the person, like the trainer, like, you know, taking photos of, you know, I know that sometimes that happens. I know sometimes you see women working out in the gym, they doing certain exercises and, you know,
Squats.
whatever. I don't think I want to see it, but yeah, I respect my wife. I think she's going to do the right thing.
Well, I think that's actually a really good point that Dre just made. Because like if it was at the gym and at the train, I mean, I guess you can read. Like as men, we can kind of read other men. We can kind of see your intentions. You know what I mean? So if your man kind of calls something out, you know, maybe he may come off a little bit paranoid, but I don't know. We have a sixth sense for what other men are thinking. But I don't know. So like my wife, she likes to get massages and stuff like that. And there was one time she was going to massage, and it's so funny because as an African American woman, you're a little bit, there's some bumper there. As we
Yams.
There's yams.
Yams.
You know what I mean? I mean Africans bump out the bumper. And my cousin ain't here to back me up. But anyway, shout out to Fran. But like the guy, like this guy was like professional. He was doing his job, and he massaged her butt. And then she came and talked to me about it, and I was like, that's his job. Like, was he like trying to get in between the creases or something? And she was like, no. She was like, no, he literally just did like these type of things. I like, it's fine. Like you're fine. It's fine.
Listen, as long as it's not one of these damn IG masseuse that's damn near having sex without having sex.
I see some of those.
Unacceptable.
Part.
Ain't no nasty.
Just over there giving everybody happy endings. Everybody, you get one. Yeah.
Look under your seat.
Surprise!
Even if I wasn't in a relationship, like that makes me uncomfortable just watching it. Like, what?
I mean, I wasn't watching somebody
and getting massages is that a lot of times
it's like erotic massages
won't have an issue with their men going to see a masseuse or whatever like that. Whether he tells her whether the lady is or the man is, whoever's giving the massage to him. But then the issue becomes really what the man is comfortable with. He's okay with his wife having another man touching on his woman's body. But then the flip side is a man doesn't want another man touching on his body to get a massage. So what do? Are we going to get a couple massage or what? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
I've experienced that, you know what I mean?
My man don't play that.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a little bit of contradictory going on, a little bit of
double standards.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If you're not getting a couples massage together, I'm not sending my man on no massage table unless I'm in there. You feel me?
Yeah.
I know what goes down in those rooms.
Happy endings. Ding.
Wow.
Happy beginnings.
Man, like what do y'all be watching?
That's what I've been told by him.
Don't nobody want to lose their license.
These girls
just gotta say the word.
As masseuses, and they do what they have to do to learn a little money on the side.
That's them other ones.
It happens. Nice.
Wow.
So,
who said that? That's a good point. Ain't nobody trying to lose their license though. Why is there a perception that
I said that. They go to a lot of school doing that. They go to a lot of schooling. I'm sure that the professional ones do not want to lose their license. It is very good money in that field.
It is.
They are not trying to lose their license to.
But see,
they are actually trained when people like might get aroused or whatever. They have to stop the service.
Yes,
the service is over with.
They're not really doing it. That's
right. And see, in Atlanta, there are actually like happy ending parlors. So it says spa on the outside, and they say massage, like it has you thinking if you're kind of green that they can go in there and get a massage, but it's really you go in there and get it popping. Like as a matter of fact, not to be funny but or rude or disrespectful, but the white dude, no seriously, the white dude that shot up those spots in Atlanta. Several of those spots, that's all that it was. Like I'm not trying to be judgmental or whatever, but I know exactly where the spots was. I know exactly what was popping, you understand? And
it's popping.
And a lot of them were saying that the man caught feelings with the women because he was in there going to get his beginning, happy and middle in it, getting it popping.
and continuation.
Not a continuation.
In the middle.
You know what I'm saying? So seriously. So I understand exactly what you're saying, Sheena, because I have a couple of homegirls that actually are legit massage, massage therapists, right? They own their own businesses and everything. One of them is actually here. She went to high school with us, but there are, like I said, in other locales, like I said in Atlanta, there's a chain of spots that's really all they do. You know what I mean? And
so
if you're
crazy.
if you don't know. You don't know till you know what I mean? And they literally like when you walk in, look, I'm about to get graphic. When you walk in, the the girls come and line up. And you can pick
one.
Jesus.
Okay. You can
Like, where's the mute button?
Jesus.
This is too much. Too much.
You can pick. No, this is predates my
So,
marriage.
so this is
days.
like,
This
what is it?
yes.
Rush hour?
This is 24 hours.
my God.
24/7.
No.
Just
The
straight
movie
up
Rush
wrong.
Hour.
She
That's how
said-
it's like.
This is rush hour.
Yes.
Straight
He
up
said, can you say
brothel.
happy
Yes.
endings?
You can exactly like that word.
Man,
Man.
I just all right. So keeping
Yeah,
it
but you know you
juicy.
signed up for something different right there. You should know when you walk in. You got all
Right.
people lined up. You know it's gonna be something
Listen,
different.
like
I
real
mean-
talk. I'm just like baffled. What I was gonna say was, to bring it back, I guess. If my wife was training with somebody else, I think that would motivate me to train harder if that guy is more fit than I am. Right. So I wouldn't be jealous, but it's just like, okay, that's to me motivation just to get in more shape. Once again, it's that quote unquote alpha male mentality. So if you know Max with like the perfect glutes is training my wife, and it's just like I'm hating on you. I'm just gonna get perfect glutes myself. So I walk up in that gym, my chest is puffed out, and it's like, you want to try something slick? You gonna catch these paws real fast. So,
Right.
that's how I roll. Like I trust my wife. It's not gonna be an issue. And it's just like, oh, you want to get in shape to take care of your body, to be healthier, to have that longevity. Yeah, I think it's a little bit different if I was to train, or any of us was to train our own spouses, because they're not really gonna like take it the same way.
Yeah.
Oh, you ain't doing no squats right. Well, you know what? Fuck you. It's
Right. Right.
but you're not doing it correctly by the book.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm over
So
you.
it's just like it may take that up the person to train her, which is completely fine. So there's a non-issue there. It's okay. I'm just gonna get swole too, and we're gonna just have it out.
Yeah, and that's where I kind of have personal experience with the matter, because my girlfriend, she went on she documented her entire transformation, because she was training for a bodybuilding competition. And let's be for real, and this is why I also think there are benefits for opposite sex, relationships, because let's be real, we don't all know everything. And if that person so happens to be a male, I'm not going to discourage that interaction. I just want communication, and I want to know what's really going on. So when she told me that she had a trainer, and I'm like, all right, is it a dude? Is it a chick? It wasn't the first thing that came to mind, but and he's a great trainer, by the way. Shout out to Hard Body, out there in Texas. I was just like, all right, I wanted to know what was the nature of the relationship. Like, is this like legit training, or was it like, he's over in another state, we're in NJ. I'm like, was it legit training, or was it like something more? I just want to know. And, I think a part of it that I had to get used to was the idea that you're now kind of sharing your partner's body with someone else. Like, not in the sense where it's intimate, but he now has to see pictures of her body. She has to send him messages. She has to document everything. He has to track her progress. So it was a little bit of like a learning curve, but also understanding the context that this was purely professional. The same way that we may have like relationships with people at church, right? Pastor starting off his one-on-one Bible studies, which may not be a good idea for him. But let's say in the context that is the case. He's doing Bible calls, things like that. He's calling her. It's like, I just feel like people can bring value, to relationships, but it's just like a matter of like setting those boundaries and being clear and open. But having that personal experience with someone with a trainer, I can say, yeah, it was a little bit to get over, because, realistically, we like to think that we can, give everything in our relationships, but the reality is some of us can't. The same way that we need to maybe have to call a plumber to fix something rather than us have to jack up the pipes because we don't want another man in our house. So it's definitely there, but it also depends on the nature of the relationship as well. And if it's honestly, the foundation's already good, you shouldn't have anything to really worry about. And this was probably one of those tests where you actually get to gauge, is this person really right for me? And maybe identify some red flags and find out, okay, this ain't the person that's for me. Because real talk, it ain't until you have your first conflict where you find out, is this person really about this relationship?
I don't know. I like the church thing. In my head, I was thinking Miss Mary Ann with the yams, but like the legit candy yams with the marshmallows on top. That's a problem.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump into the next one, and we'll start to wrap it up real soon. Since we're in the juicy side of things, I'll get into this question. Is there a way to identify that a friend may be trying to be more than a friend? And if that is the case, what are the signs? Let's start off with the ladies on this one first. Monique, let's start you off on this one.
I haven't had this experience since being married, but prior to marriage, there aren't too many male friends that I had back in the day that I could say right now, at that time, if I didn't call them at 12 a.m., they weren't going to come and get the booty. I'm just keeping it 100 together.
They come.
The 100.
Like it's booty time.
I can't count on one hand I had a lot of male friends, like Ashley said, she stated earlier. I had a lot of male friends just because I was that homegirl that was really relatable in a lot of ways. But I'm semi-cute, you know what I'm saying? So there's not a whole lot of
No, she did.
Well, I am.
Wow.
I'm not everybody's type, so I'm not, and I'm somebody's wife now. I got a little baby and stuff. I'm out of the game. I don't count. But
Wait, can we go back to the
semi-cute? Right? Can we rewind?
I'm an auntie now.
I got a question.
She is beautiful. Okay. Stop it.
Yes.
But what I'm saying, you guys, is that back in the day, there's not too many I could call at 12 a.m. and be like, look, what you trying to do, bro? And they would have turned me down. They probably would have been like, wait a minute, is you playing with me, Mo? Come on now. And if I said yes, come on. What did you saying? Come on now.
We doing this or not?
I know that would have turned me down. And that's because there was always some kind of like vibe or energy that I felt, or they made it very clear that they were very attracted to me, but they just played their position because they knew I wasn't interested. Or there was times where the hug was a little too tight, a little bit too long, things like that, little innuendos. I'm just saying, and I think that a lot of times when a woman says that she has this man or this young man, when we were in our 20s, that it's supposed to be the male bestie and things like that. It's like small things, you guys. You got to look for the small, subtle stuff. And that is where you will find the truth. Okay? That's all I'm saying. The truth is in the small things. Not the big things that's obvious. It's in the small details of things,
So you're saying that you might have to send that 12 a.m. text like, yo, what's good? And you just see what the response is, right?
I'm not a texter. I don't play around with that kind of stuff. I don't play with people.
She's in the big
I don't play with men that's testosterone like that, because next thing you know, you call a man, you try to test the waters, and you just playing around, and he gonna be mad because he gonna see when they get blue balls. Y'all know how it is. I got cornballs. They get pissed off a little bit. They get irritated, and I hear them for a month. And the homeboy that was supposed to be your homeboy ain't your homeboy no more. You don't know why. It's because since she's playing, calling him talking about 12 a.m. You got a little tipsy. And he's gonna answer your call like, hey, big head, thinking of this.
Real. Wow. He just trying to come over and put the tip in.
He just want to put the tip in, like she always say.
He gonna text your husband, be like, you know what you might just sent me?
It even happened because none of them have my phone number, first of all, okay? So in today's day, they can only reach me on Facebook, Instagram, and that's it.
Twitter.
And even that is very limited. Because there's certain ones I know that if I called, said that me and Omar broke up, they would show the F up. Okay.
Be like, let me put the tip in.
Yep.
So any other
They
signs?
would happily put the tip in, okay? So
can anyone else speak to
I'm not
other
just put my
signs?
man on my Facebook page. If I tell them to come on and put the tip in, they're gonna put the tip in. And that's the bottom line. My dad was real honest with me about men and how things operate a lot of times with men and women that they're attracted to. And so I think that I had a leg up, but a lot of young women don't have, who were raised by single moms, grandmothers, and things like that. My dad was he was like, look, it ain't the two things on the top of a man's mind, sex and money, okay? And if you ain't his wife, look, you can only expect one or two things he's looking for: to make a business deal or to get the booty. And that's that's how I operated growing up. And then as a young adult, before I got married, I operated with the mindset that either he won trying to put the tip in, or he trying to make a business deal. Maybe both,
Any other points on this? Is there a surefire way, and thanks Monique for those points, to identify that your friend may be trying to be more than a friend? Let's hear from a fella here. Let's hear from our guys out in the pod. Dre, what's your take? Is there a way to find out?
He's breathing. I only did that for Chunky. I did that for Chunky. I know that he would have appreciated it. I don't know. I mean, I think I would probably try to just get the vibe if I were to be in the same space with the person and try to get a vibe one way or another. Yeah, I think Monique mentioned it. Maybe hugging a little bit too long or something like that. Maybe being overly friendly. Maybe if he was trying to be overly friendly with me, maybe I would be like, why are you trying to be my friend? Like, you my wife's friend. Like, I'm not really trying to get a new friend. I don't know. I don't know if I can really think of too many
like
things
Drake,
like that.
no new friends.
Yeah, no new friends, man. No new friends. I got all the friends I need. My friends on the podcast. I don't need no more friends, especially somebody who knew my wife before me. Like, yeah, what do we have to talk about? Like,
not a damn thing.
They're getting a whole facial expression like,
not a damn thing.
No.
Yeah, let me just to piggyback off my boy Dre. It's so funny because I'm actually really bad at reading like those type of signs. I've always been historically bad at it. Even with Selassie, like it was in college, it was like one of our, he's still a good friend now, but one of our other male friends that he was actually trying to like hit on me at the time, and I was so completely oblivious to it.
Lord.
Yeah.
How y'all make it through the world? I know too many guys is like that. Like, what? She was blatantly flirting with you. Like,
and it's like, it's so crazy because like even
that.
and it's
He didn't
funny
say
like,
it straight up.
I was gonna say it has to be harder if he's saying it's one of their male friends who was hitting on him. I could only imagine. I probably would have been too oblivious to that.
I don't know. I'm naturally oblivious to that. Because even like my wife, she'll sometimes will call out like, no, that person was trying to hit on you. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I'm gonna need you to get unoblivious immediately.
Like unless you directly ask me for my phone number. Which may not count because it may be for business purposes. So I may be like, yeah, sure. So I'm just naturally oblivious to it. But I have like a strong supporting team around me that kind of shields me from like, nope, don't go that way. No. Dark alleys aren't safe. No, okay.
It's all right. That sounds like a good time in dark alleys.
Yep.
You get pegged.
Back up relationships.
Yeah, they toot it up.
Life.
Drop it on. No. Spread it.
I don't know.
Shoot that thing.
I would say this one definitely applies to the fellas because there were surveys conducted on this, and it actually identified that men, with their opposite sex friendships, regardless if their friend was involved in a romantic relationship, men were actually the first and most likely to act on their feelings for that opposite sex friend. With no regard to whether or not, I'm not saying that's all men, let's get that straight, but it's a fact. Like the guys are probably going to be the first to initiate it. And then apparently with D-Black's example, that also applies to same-sex friendships too. So I guess this goes into my final question is, have you ever played the friend zone with hopes of catching the rebound, or have you ever been rebounded? And we'll wrap it up with this one.
It would be a no and a no.
Congregation
No,
is
no, no.
silent.
Wait. Not yet for Salita. Maybe her friend is waiting in the wings.
He gonna be waiting a long ass motherfucking time because I said what I said in the way that I said it. Deal with it.
I don't know. Like I've never been friend zoned, but I mean I have friend zoned. I guess some females that I guess I thought were again, and that's why I guess I've come up with that mindset, that rationale that it has to be like I don't know. For me personally, those opposite relationships don't work. At least when those ones I can try to identify a little bit better, even though my radar is pretty broken.
Do you even have a radar?
I don't even know, bro.
He just likes the attention.
Actually, it's kind of even
some people do though.
Attention whore.
I guess. I mean, it's funny because so my wife actually approached me first, and I was oblivious to it the first time. that she approached me. It took my sisters
Giving her
intervening
shot.
for me to catch on.
Mhm.
So I'm naturally
Good thing she
oblivious
was
to-
aggressive. He'd have missed that one.
Right.
Completely.
Yes.
It would have went
He
over his
would've.
head because he's short.
He was like, "What? Oh, dang! Is that the short joke?
Dang.
Oh, damn!
Damn.
It's
Womp,
okay.
womp, womp."
It's okay though. He's wifed up. He made it.
He made it.
She wiped him up. She wiped him up.
Steve, tell him you make up for it in other areas, D.
I mean, of course, I don't
I
need
mean, you
to- I
can
don't
say
need
that
to-
out loud, I guess.
I don't need to speak to the areas I overcompensate. I mean,
Oh,
or I
God.
over
With your mind and your emotions.
no with my money, bruh. My bread to the ceiling. Now
There we have it.
Because you're hiding it, man.
Listen,
So you gotta bring
listen. Fall under the category big dick energy.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what- No, but I think
Ding,
it's
ding,
just,
ding, ding, ding.
oh my god, I think it's interesting because like
That's a
yes.
segment on our show.
Oh, I'm very no, but I think it's interesting because like it's hard to try to, I don't know, like managing those relationships is very challenging. I've never tried to friend zone anybody.
Shit,
I don't
I
really
have.
play that game. But that's the thing, I don't play that game. Especially if you already told me you have feelings for me, I won't even try to be your friend because I already know that you're like, you could be wasting your time with somewhere else because I know you really want to be in a relationship. You know, so let you go try to go pursue a relationship somewhere else. We still have interactions here and there. That's cool, but not to the point where we're going to be hanging out all the time because people will hold on. I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised in this day and age how patient people will be to wait for an opportunity. So.
This is people are weird.
Trying to keep
say-
hope alive.
To me, baby. Hold on to me.
Listen,
Go.
I'm not known
I
for
want
patience.
to
Just like the
get back
song.
to Monique on was she said guys are interested in two things, was it's fucking and finance. I was gonna say the thing that
it was the first. It's like the first two things on a man's mind when he wakes up. And
I was gonna like raise another one and say fighting is my number one.
That Mars energy.
I thought you was gonna say food. I thought you was gonna say food.
Food is two.
Fighting.
I was gonna say, yeah, food's a big one.
Well, I think
It's
if a
up
man
there.
has a toss up of food,
sure.
or let me see, let me answer this.
Which
If I had to
one?
fight for
Big head
food,
cat,
even
you know what I
better.
mean?
That's that Mars
Out of the way.
energy. He likes to fight.
I was friend zoned back in the day by somebody, and it wasn't in the sense of me approaching him about anything, but I was waiting for my time. It was one of those kind of situations. And because the young lady that he was high school sweethearts with, I knew her because we sang together in like this little choir or whatever. And I didn't meet him through her. I met him
No,
through
ma'am.
some real homeboys that I had, like homeboys that would like beat people up for me, like those kind of homeboys. It wasn't like I was sitting around waiting on him not doing my thing. I was still doing my thing, but I said, well, I'm just whatever. It just ended up being that way. And I didn't have a name for it back then. You know what I mean? So when everybody was talking, I was like, dang, that kind of was a friend zone kind of thing because we was friends for a long, long time before I finally got the gig. You know, but
Did you get the drawers?
I got the drawers.
You got the drawers.
Scandalous.
It worked out. Waited for her time. I respect it.
Like I said, we were really good friends. So we even though I was attracted to him, we were really good friends or whatever. And I'm not somebody that like oversteps my boundaries or nothing like that. I'm not even that kind of person. So it wasn't no big deal or whatever. But now that we were talking about it, I'm like, God damn, I was kind of like a friend zone situation.
No, ma'am.
We get to see what the draw
Friend
looks like.
zone.
Hey, I mean, I would say it's safer to play the friend zone than to throw yourself out there not knowing what to expect. Because I mean, in real talk, you get to see a little bit about the person as well to see if you're really even attracted to this person, right? Like if
Exactly. If you do be
physical,
that
yeah, because you may realize he don't shower every day. You know what I mean? Or
right, like
his finances are a wreck.
He don't even
you know
brush his teeth every day.
Wash his ass.
He don't wash his hands when he come out the bathroom.
Ew.
I'm not
Could be
playing the
something
friend
anything.
zone. No, like I
No.
posted the other day, I'm not even my mother's second child. I don't play
Okay.
second to nobody. I don't do the rebounds. I'm an
Mm-mm, me
Aries.
neither.
Like, listen, we short on patience. I'm keeping 100.
Very.
I'm not waiting around.
So that's not even in our
move on to
vocabulary.
the next one.
Exactly.
What is
Mm.
patience?
Yeah.
Okay, on to the
He
next
said, "What
one.
is-"
I don't have time.
Remix.
Sounds good. Well, ladies, it was a pleasure having you on today. For our
Pleasure
listeners'
being
sake,
here.
for the people in the back, thank you, Cheyenne. You know what I mean? Popping out. I gotta like set up some soca situation for you next time.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
yes.
Yeah. So for our
Look it
listeners'
up.
sake, how can they find you, your podcast? Drop us those tags again one more time in the website.
Go ahead,
Show
Ashley.
everywhere, you guys. That's it. That's all. And Black Women Heal
We
Show.
Googleable.
That's it. We made it very simple. Everything is the same
Everywhere.
across every channel, every platform. Black Women Heal Show. That's it.
Perfect. So for more
Pull up
content,
on us.
hey, that too.
We gonna throw hands?
We're not throwing hands.
No, it's not always
And
about
healing.
fighting.
We
Stop it.
throwing
Exactly.
healing.
We're
We
lovers.
healing.
Yeah,
Throwing
that's
healing.
what healing does,
Fighters.
Ashley. It's gonna
Come
make you
heal
feel
with
We
better.
us.
might be smoking
Hey,
Over in the healing.
some
Oh.
bud.
I don't know if you've been listening, but I'm notorious for my edibles, my brownies,
Okay.
people under.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
I have a
I
lot
could
of
get
I
with
would
vitamins.
that.
be asleep. I
With my
don't see how
brownies.
you do it. I would be
Yeah, they
asleep.
put me to sleep. They put me to
I
sleep
got
too.
you.
Me
She even be
too.
sleep on
Yeah.
the blunt. The hell?
I don't know nothing about it, so
That's why I mess with the sativa. That's why I mess with only the sativa. But sometimes
Oh
the
Lord.
sleep and the weed just it don't work, and I just
Oh
crash.
Lord. Oh Lord.
On
She's a
the
friend,
look
yes.
on the show.
She's that friend with
On
the
the show.
blanket.
Exactly.
On the show,
She's
and
She'll
they
sleep
be,
at any
token
moment.
right
they be
now.
laughing at me like this bitch. Be me.
So for more content or learn more about the podcast, feel free to check us out at Jerk Your Love Collar Pod on Instagram. Podcast episodes drop every Wednesday. Stay tuned for the outro coming right up to learn additional ways to reach us and send us your feedback. Be sure to like, share, follow, and or subscribe if you like what you're hearing. Feel free to leave us a review on your preferred streaming platform of choice. See you all again next week. And I just wanted to drop one more shout out to our people out there in Europe. We got like a listener in Belgium and Germany right now that's been listening to us hard since day one. So I just want to spend a special shout out to you guys and like the Wi-Fi code, share us with your friends, and, you know, we'll definitely get in there. Other than that, thank you to our beautiful Godiva goddesses, the Black Women Heal Show podcast. Hope to have you on again in the future. Maybe you drop us an invite to come on to your show. If you need some BDE energy, you know what I
hey.
Or just violence.
I love
Just hit me
that.
up.
check it with the violence.
Cut the outro on me. Yes, cut it out.
mean? Exactly. Apart. Stay blessed, y'all. Say good night.
Peace.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Bye.
We didn't take over the outro.
And that concludes today's episode, but that doesn't mean the conversation has to end. As a matter of fact, feel free to check us out at JJC Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter for our post-discussion question following the release of this episode. If you are a Black or minority business owner or professional that would like to be featured on the Rep Yours segment of our show, or a listener with some general feedback for the podcast panel, feel free to shoot us an email at jjcpod@gmail.com. As always, likes and comments are always appreciated. Be sure to subscribe or follow to be notified when the next episode releases. And until then, stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.